737 days. That's how many times my girlfriend told me she was working late. I never checked. Not once in 2 years. Until the night her colleague called our apartment looking for her, and told me their office had closed at 5 p.m. I hung up and sat completely still for 11 minutes. Then I started going back through 2 years of evenings and I realized I had believed every single one. We'd been together 3 years total. Living together for 2. She worked in finance. Long hours were normal. At least I thought they were. I work from home. I'm a freelance developer. I was always there when she left in the morning and always there when she came back. I cooked dinner on the late nights. Kept it warm. Never complained. 737 dinners. When she came home that night I didn't say anything immediately. I waited until she had taken off her coat and come into the kitchen. I told her Marcus from her office had called. I watched her freeze. She recovered quickly. Said Marcus must have had the wrong number. Said she'd been at a client meeting. I asked her which client. She named one. I told her I'd looked up that client. Their offices were closed for renovation for the past 2 months. The next 30 minutes were the most honest 30 minutes of our entire relationship. She didn't have one person she'd been seeing. She had a situation that had started as something casual and grown into something she didn't know how to stop or how to tell me about. 2 years. Twice a week. Sometimes 3 times. 737 late nights. Roughly 400 of them were real. The rest, 300 and something evenings, were not. She had been going to his apartment. Having dinner. Sleeping over sometimes. Coming home smelling like someone else's shower gel and telling me she was exhausted from work. And I had kept the dinner warm. I asked her to leave that night. She did. I sat in our apartment surrounded by 2 years of a life I had built with someone who had been partially somewhere else the entire time. The coffee maker we'd picked out together. The plant she'd named Gerald. The photo from our first holiday on the wall. None of it looked the same anymore. I'm not a person who cries easily. I cried that night. Not from sadness exactly. More from the strangeness of it, the feeling of having lived inside a story that had a different version happening simultaneously. She called 3 times over the next week. I didn't answer. She sent one message. It said, "I'm sorry I was a coward." I didn't reply to that either. It's been 14 months now. I've thought a lot about why I never checked. And the honest answer is, I trusted her completely. Which sounds like a good thing and mostly is. But there's a version of complete trust that becomes its own kind of blindness. I knew something was slightly off, maybe, in the abstract way you know something without ever making it concrete. I chose not to make it concrete. I don't know if that's loyalty or avoidance. Probably both. What I know is that I cooked dinner for 300 evenings for a person who wasn't coming home from work. That's the part one can't quite shake. Tell me honestly, if you had a gut feeling that something was wrong, would you check? Or would you trust? And if you checked and found out you were right, what would you do with 300 evenings of evidence? I kept the plant. I named him Gerald too. Some things you hold on to. Some things you let go. Leave a comment. Tell me what you would have done differently.